Hello there. As we watch the Russians pound Ukraine into dust, Western governments are looking at ways to make our finances more transparent to them in order to get at those oligarchs. It's very easy to get swept along by the "we must find the bad people's money, seize it, freeze it and punish them" rhetoric being pushed against Russian oligarchs at the moment. When you see images and videos of the collateral damage of war on children and grieving parents, it's almost impossible not to rage at the wealthy supporters of this horror. So many people get a warm satisfaction from the thought that their government can put in place rules to hunt down that wealth and seize it. Let's watch those wealthy bar stewards squirm and hear them squeal as their ill-gotten gains are stripped from them, they think. As I've said before, those that steal from the state steal from the people and should be held to account, not have their money laundered through City of London financial institutions and property. Now, one of the money laundering vehicles dodgy people use is trusts. And many countries around the world don't use trusts, but we do. Neither Germany nor France uses trusts in the way we do, for example. In fact, it may be that in the EU, only Ireland, Cyprus and Malta use trusts along the same lines as we do in the UK. And trusts make it easier to camouflage the identity of the beneficiary. In a trust there are three main players. The settler, who puts the money in, defines who the beneficiary is, sets the scope of the trust and appoints the trustees. The trustee is the one who legally owns the assets in the trust and runs the trust within the parameters that the settler has decided and pays out to the beneficiary of the trust. And the beneficiary is the one that gets the assets or the profit from the assets. And the settler and beneficiary are not always the same person. In many trusts, once it's set up, the person or entity that put the money in loses total control over and benefit from the money they put into the trust. Now, trusts are used very widely for good outcomes, such as protecting money left to children before they come of age and to protect vulnerable adults from having their money scammed off of them. But some are set up for questionable clients by the best financial and legal minds in the country in return for massive fees, trusts which are very complicated and designed specifically to hide, confuse and launder. And it's these trusts that the government wants to use a legal can opener on. But to do that they need a central government list of all trust beneficial owners, because it's the beneficial owners that are getting the money. And under these new rules that list is now being compiled. And I would suspect that every dodgy trust operator has more than one of those trusts going. And there are even such things as secret trusts. So getting that list together will take time, and that may be why the UK seems to be dragging its heels over sanctions against individual oligarchs. But it's this big move to pry into the lives of the private individual that should at least cause us concern. Because once this gets going, you can bet mission creep will set in and more ideas of hunting money down get investigated and more rules get put in place. All under the nothing to hide, nothing to fear doctrine. With the aim of stopping crime and collecting tax. So it must be a good thing. No more tax evasion, no more hidden wealth. Let's stick it to the filthy rich. But where does it stop? We need to tackle these oligarchs, but must ensure that mission creep does not set in. Or else, how long before everyone has to publish their entire financial position on a public domain government website at the end of every year? Income, expenditure, tax, the lot. With omissions and mistakes being punishable with lengthy prison sentences, where the wealthy can be vilified, investigated and hounded, and the poor can be ridiculed or even targeted because they take more from the state than they put in.